Hey everybody, welcome to our first episode of Tea with the Creators.
Hello, everybody.
Tonight, Amber is with me. Carrie, are you jumping up here with us? Let me know if you are. I'm going to pin Amber's page here. If you guys do not follow her, I suggest you do. She does some amazing podcasts. And she's also been following tonight's topic. We're going to talk about Gypsy Rose, you guys. Hopefully that's cool with everybody. Hi, Anna. How are you? Hope you're doing well. You know what? I will also throw in here the StreamYard link in case anyone pops in and they don't have it. Amber, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been to the doctor. I've been riding around on the motorcycle, and it's my father-in-law's birthday, so I've had a full day.
A full day. Yeah. Now that I think about it, I didn't get a nap today. Usually I do my little naps. So
I wish I
all
could
right,
nap.
guys. There is the stream. You're not a napper.
Well, I would love to nap. I just can't.
Oh, yeah. Some people just don't have time for it, or they lay down and they can't. And yeah, okay. Carrie, I'm gonna add you to the stage tonight. Hey.
There we go. Hey,
Hello.
sorry about that. There was an echo on the page.
No worries. So, ladies, first off, I was thinking we could kind of start with a timeline with Gypsy and her life. I think everyone is pretty familiar with this case. And before we start, I do want to say, I feel like it's been a crazy 2 weeks in content creator world. And I do want to be respectful to other content creators. And I don't want to sit here on this entire live and just bash everybody, and I think that's been going on a lot. I want to talk more about like facts. I want to talk more about what we think is going to happen next, that kind of thing. So hopefully everyone's cool with that. Yeah, Anna, we'll spill the tea, and we don't have to agree with everything, and we can give our opinions. I just don't want to sit here and like rag on other content creators, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I don't like doing that.
Yeah. I think we all agree. Yeah, we like the facts. We like the facts.
Yep.
Okay, so here is a little bit of a timeline. If you don't know, I feel like everyone does know Gypsy's timeline, but
then before we start, can I address something real quick? So
absolutely.
So since I'm getting the FOIAs, I don't know if you know that, but I was denied the Nicholas Godejohn file.
Really?
Really?
Yes, because he is doing habeas corpus at federal level, trying to do an appeal.
Okay.
So until July 15th, I have been advised by Greene County to steer away from talking about Nicholas.
Wow.
Okay.
That's fine. I feel so sorry for him. That's all I'm going to say.
So I just wanted you to know that.
Amber, if you and if you don't mind, I know some people don't like sharing this, but if you have Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, please drop it in comments, because I do want people to know, you guys, when you request police reports and video footage and things like that, it does cost money. So Amber, I'm pretty sure you put a pretty penny out there trying to get these. I have had definitely a delay in getting reports back in a timely manner since I left the news industry. And I think that's just typical when you don't have a mainstream media email address. Reaching out, they just don't get to you as fast. So that is kind of a bummer, but please, do you mind mentioning your Venmo, Cash App, or any of those?
Actually, I don't feel comfortable at the moment because there is a huge pot of money sitting there.
Okay.
And it's 2,277 or something like that. There may have been more put in the last couple of days, but I don't feel comfortable actually giving that right now because I want to make sure that everything that is there is going to be used for what I asked for it to be used for. So until
Okay.
July 15th, I am just letting it sit there. And after that time, if I'm still denied, then I will, if anybody wants their money back, I will definitely refund them. But I
Wow.
will be
You don't
using.
hear many creators say that. That's awesome.
But
Well, yeah, and also, I want to throw this out there for people who may be considering asking you that. I even thought about this week, and I don't know why it just hit me, but like when we do live streams like this, to do them as a panel, it does cost more money. So you are
Yeah.
paying the $45 for
Mhm.
StreamYard. So I hope people do understand that some of this money also goes towards that. It goes towards editing software, music, things like that. So do me a favor, you guys, and just go follow her channel. I'm going to pin it right there. And if you feel like donating even a coffee to her, do it. Whatever. I don't care. It's the fact that you take the time to do this.
Well, and I do want to say that whatever money is left over will be used to get FOIAs in other cases. And
absolutely.
I also did just send off another FOIA request in this sphere, but
Mhm.
doesn't have to do with
Mhm.
the murder. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
that will be really interesting.
I know.
It took me, you guys, no joke. I put in a request to see what Chris Watts's visitor list was, and it literally took 3 months to get that
mhm,
back. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But it's the nature of the beast sometimes. With
yeah.
certain agencies, they're like snappy, and others, they don't care.
Hmm.
So welcome in, Lisa. Thank you for dropping by. So you guys, I just want to do kind of like a rundown on Gypsy, before we kind of get into it. And it's crazy to think of what has just happened in the past year for her, but feel free to
Mhm.
jump in with whatever you guys want to say. But so back in 2008, she was honored as Child of the Year by Habitat for Humanity. And that is one of the organizations I am going to pin up here. I might still have a picture of it, but if you guys do feel like donating to any organization that speaks to you, I do think Habitat for Humanity is a good one.
It is. We
It
use
is.
that a lot here. We have hurricanes, you guys, really bad
Mhm.
ones. So we
Right.
have a lot of Habitat for Humanity fundraisers and charities here and stuff like that.
Mhm.
We're
While you're
constantly,
talking about that, I'll go get the link real quick too.
yeah.
So you guys, has she even really given back? I feel like I remember when she was with Ryan, she
Mhm.
gave a small amount.
I think it was like
Really?
$1,500 or something like that.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be mean, but like I feel like you could do a lot better than that.
Mhm.
Especially with what you do and with the reach of people you have.
Mhm.
um Raffle something off, do something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we're going to hear a little bit about that. What I want to do also, after we go through this timeline, is kind of listen to today's. Did you guys get to hear the Tori Spelling interview today?
Yes.
Okay.
I did not. I just logged on and started looking there's some good information out there about what's going on with her right now. So
Mhm.
Yeah, so I took like a couple clips from that. I don't want to copy the whole thing, but we'll listen to
okay.
that. And there are like so many times where I'm like, I know we're gonna pause and have things to say.
Oh yeah.
So okay, she starts her relationship in 2011 at that sci-fi convention, and I feel like
Oh,
we
yeah,
kind of figured
yeah.
about Dan a lot. Has
Mhm.
anyone heard what Dan is up to
Uh-uh.
since? Is he just like off the radar now?
There's theories. I'm not gonna even try to even
Wait,
present
what?
them.
You gotta tell us.
No. That's not my.
I'm
That's
kidding.
not my realm.
I'll Google it right now.
That's not my realm. But yeah, I think he's still just kind of existing like he did before, is my understanding.
Well, I'm like, are you gonna put a book out, man? Like, what is
Right.
going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember there was probably about a month ago, they were talking about, was he involved? Was he there? I mean, oh Lord, like dragging a guy in who probably had no idea what he was getting into in the
Oh,
first
yeah.
place. He probably thought he was just like being nice to this girl, and now, like years later, he's dragged into it.
So
So,
how old would she have been in 2011?
She
I mean,
was
do we really know?
well, the weird thing to me is how she looked back then.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
at
Yeah.
the conventions.
I think she was like
And like
19, 18 or 19, something like
yes.
that.
Yeah.
And so she got, going with the neighborhood group going to these, and I don't know if you've ever seen them. We do have a very popular one in Georgia called Dragon Con, and it is huge, you guys. I mean, it is a thing. It is a big, big thing. And people dress up in different can be whatever character they want. And of course, she was a Disney princess, of course. And somehow they struck up a conversation. And at one point, she tried to run away to Dan's house, and it didn't work out for her. Mom found out, tracked her down. So that is why Gypsy ultimately says that is the reason she will not run away with Nick, because Nick claims he begged Gypsy to do that in the first place.
He did.
So cosplay, yes, that's kind of what they call it. Like, yeah, because
that's
it is for
here,
kids,
yeah.
but it's also like kind of adult, risky and dressing up sexy and that kind of thing. So it seems that's a little bit where Gypsy probably got exposed to some of that.
Those are good words.
Behavior, role playing, and all of that. Yeah, Joyce says she thinks she was 19.
Yeah, and I've been to Comic Con.
So have I. Yeah,
that's interesting.
It is very interesting.
I mean, yeah, I would be interested in going. I just feel like I wouldn't really get a lot of the characters and all of that, but I like to people watch. So I think that would be the best place for it.
It definitely is.
Yeah, I wouldn't take my kids. I would not take my kids to that.
Right.
I took my son and his friends.
Well, just because, I mean, I usually go at night.
Dressed sexy?
Oh God, yes. They barely have any clothes on, some of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about in your experience, Amber?
No, so I went to the one in Tampa, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, there was some risque outfits and stuff like that, but I didn't feel like it was too over the top to where I was like, hide your eyes,
Yeah.
Right.
They were 13, I think. So, yeah. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, Lisa.
I go at night too. I always go at night, like later at night. So maybe that makes a difference.
Yeah, I would imagine
I
so.
would not take my kids there. I mean, I'd be covering their eyes constantly if I was. So I'd be like, nope, we're leaving. Let's go.
It'd be interesting. I wonder if some of these conventions have hours, after hours for adults.
I don't know.
And they should,
Absolutely. They should. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to hear this. Go. I want to hear this.
So Dan. Okay, so Dan is done. Like, he is like, okay, I'm done with you. You know, like this is too much drama for me, you know, with the mom. I think the mom also scared him into saying Gypsy was much younger than she really was. One thing I wonder is like sometimes why didn't Dan report? You know, like what was going on? You know, he just didn't get involved. I'm surprised he didn't like, you know, file a report with police and be like, hey, this situation's really weird. This girl says she can't walk. She's in a wheelchair, but yet, you know, she was walking.
Yeah, my assumption is from everything I've heard about Dan. Now, I don't know if half of it's true.
I could look this guy up.
But from my assumption, he didn't want to involve any kind of authorities, even if he had that thought process, because he's in the criminal element. From what I understand, I don't know for sure, but
well, also like let's pull up a quick picture. I know this is not what she looked like exactly, you guys, at the festival, but I mean, she looks like a kid, right? And I mean, what does that really say about Dan if he's inviting a child over his house, right? I mean, that's a little freaky. So maybe that is another reason he.
Sorry, he was 32.
Yes. So even let's say Gypsy was 19, right?
Yeah.
I mean, which they were not saying that, but I mean, even a 32-year-old with a 19-year-old is not the best look.
No.
Right? I mean, kind of fresh out of high school still. I mean, it happens. I mean, don't get me wrong. My husband and I are 10 years apart. So, I mean, that's an age gap.
But how old were y'all when you met?
Oh, I mean, I was 30.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like if she'd have been older, that 10 years wouldn't have been as important to us. But yeah, when you're 18, 19 years old and you're dating somebody that's that age, I'm like, you know what I mean?
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I look back at like when I was 13, I always wanted to talk to older guys, you know, like 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
And now I look back and I'm like, what the hell were they thinking? Like, that's creepy to me.
I got to tell you real quick, this picture that I just happened to land on says, Gypsy Rose says D is fire as she shares her sex life with him.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
What is with her? And
I don't know, man.
D is fire. So, okay. So Dan is done, right? And then Gypsy goes on a Christian dating site and starts talking to Nick. Godejohn. Am I saying that right? Godejohn or Godejohn?
Yeah.
Godejohn.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Godejohn. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, starts talking to Nick, and I do. You know, I have to say, I was having a conversation with, actually, I'm going to check to make sure Amy didn't pop in. Okay. Amy and I with Pair Women Radio, if you guys don't follow her, go check her out. We were having a conversation about, I feel really bad for Nick because he is on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
However, when I found out, maybe you guys know the truth to this. Is it true that he said he wanted to do things to their daughter if they had a child?
She did.
She's the one who said that.
It was in the FOIA.
Okay.
Holy shit.
And when I heard that, of course, it was turned on him. I stepped back from kind of feeling like speaking out for him, or, you know, so I am really interested to see what you come up with, Amber, when we do start looking at these reports. Because we do know Nick has mental illness.
Yeah.
He has said he heard voices. He was trying to ask for help. But it also doesn't take away that violent act he did.
But it plays a part in it for sure. Yeah. So I know that, you know, I have my son, so, you know.
Yeah, I I'm not going to talk much about Nick, but you guys can.
Yeah, I know you can't. Yeah, just
Mhm.
so you guys, if you guys are just jumping in, Amber's, and another thing too, Amber, I don't know if they've made you do this, but when I requested some stuff from Nicole Kessinger, in Aurora, Colorado, I had to sign some paperwork saying I would not talk about the arrest and show the mugshot and profit off of it. Now, if I show it on a live stream, technically you're profiting off of it, right? Because ads are playing. So I don't know if they've done that with you
No.
in Greene County. But some counties do that too, where you sign your rights away. And if they catch you, I mean, you can roll the dice and gamble with it, you guys, if you want to. I mean, I won't, but
I wouldn't either.
yeah. So a lot of people were like, why aren't you showing her mugshot? I'm like, because I signed my name saying I wouldn't show it. So anyway, back to Nick. Just one thing also about autism, and with my experience being around it, being an advocate, having a child with it, when they are have their mind set to something, they're on it. They are on it. They're going to accomplish it. And I think that Nick, and you can even hear in the police interviews, he is just on a track. He has a mission to save Gypsy, and that's what he was going to do. Was it the right decision? No, it wasn't. But I do feel the mental illness and the autism does play a big part in it too. And I wonder if Gypsy really understood that. Like, was she exposed to that? Did her mother talk to her about autism? Or was she, I mean, she wasn't in school with other kids, right? So.
But she was exposed to a lot of children, even when she was an adult, who were very sick. She was going to the Hope Lodge. She was going to the Ronald McDonald House. She was going to all of these different places where there are ill children. So she definitely would have known, what was going on with these kids and the level of ability for them to understand things.
Yeah. And that's where I start to feel like you maybe even manipulated him to do what he did with no intentions of actually being with him in the end.
I believe so.
Look at where we are now. So that's scary. So Gypsy and Nick end up actually getting to meet each other. They're talking online for a long, long time. And then she confesses all of this about, her mother and how she feels trapped, will never be together. They end up meeting at a movie theater, and that is where they have sex for the first time. In a bathroom.
But
wow.
But according to Nick, it didn't happen.
Yes. So he said just the moment was, it was just too much for him and he couldn't perform, right? Is kind of
the whole situation with her having a diaper on and other things. So yeah.
Wait, what?
Yes, you guys, there's so many weird little, she was on her period, right? And so instead of wearing pads, and of course she couldn't wear tampons, her mother had her wear a diaper. Supposedly.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many weird little quirks.
Wow.
Like not being able to shave, things like that. Yeah. So
I've never heard of diaper. I've never heard of that. I've heard a lot of things, but never that. So that's wow.
Yeah. So that is pretty intense.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dee Dee was not going to allow Gypsy to have a relationship. She did find out about the relationship, and according to Gypsy, busted her laptop. And I think that was the point for Gypsy where she started to plot and plan and say, okay, Nick, I need you to do this for me, pretty much.
Yeah.
And being in love with her, he did it. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure we all don't need like a total recap on, everything happened, right? I feel like we, in the chat, feel free to tell me if you guys need a recap, but I think everyone pretty much knows what's going on. But I just wanted to do like a quick timeline because so much has happened. So,
but I did want to say she did try to kill her mother in 2011 with a BB gun.
What?
So she was already plotting to kill her mother before Nick came into the picture.
Y'all are educating me.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know what she was thinking with the BB gun. I always kind of wondered, you guys, and let me know your opinions and thoughts on this in the chat. Feel free to jump in, you guys. And if anyone wants to jump up on panel, please feel free. I'll throw the StreamYard link back in there. Do you guys think she ever plotted to drug her, or well, did she maybe drug her mother that night to kind of subdue her so that it was easier to commit the crime?
I wouldn't say no, because I know they were always together 24/7. I can't imagine that she would have gotten out of the house, gone to a movie. That's what, 2 or 3, sometimes 4 hours you're gone, and mom didn't notice. I don't know. I would maybe that's possible. Yeah. I know I would lay my eyes on my child in a 4-hour period. I guess what I'm trying to say.
So Dee Dee had lots of medicine that she took, but I don't think that there was anything in her system in the autopsy that showed that she was actually drugged. So
that night.
That night.
So sometimes I wonder if after the BB gun incident, if Gypsy did try. I mean, like, let's be honest, that house was loaded with narcotics and anxiety medications, and it was very possible. So sometimes I also wonder, could she have given her anxiety medicine, and by the time the autopsy was performed, could it have left the system? I don't know, because I don't have the background and that kind of thing. And if it's something she took on the regular, is it going to show up as hardcore as it would for someone who doesn't take something like that? If that makes sense to people. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, just going by.
I take medicine on a daily. So if I feel like it might not show up as strong as it would for someone who's not taking it on a daily basis.
And Holier Than Thou did bring up a good point. In the text messages, Gypsy did say that she took her sleep medicine. So
I'm going to pin that up there.
So I'm going to tell you a little something that might make a difference too, because my son at one point tried to take his own life, and he took an entire bottle of 2 milligram Ativan, and it was 60 of them, entire bottle, and he did not test positive.
What?
Wow.
They thought I lied, and he lied about taking them.
Now, is that because he has a tolerance to it?
I don't know. Nobody.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. Is there a possibility they did give Dee Dee something, but she has so much of a tolerance to it that by the time the autopsy was done, I think that's more of a question for a medical examiner. I'm always looking for experts too. So if you guys know any, I love that.
That was just really weird. With that, he and I both were like, "What?
How did you not?"
Yeah.
So I don't know what the medical examiner's drug testing is like, but I know the VA is really good, and they pick up on how many pills you've taken.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting too then.
Yeah. I believe it.
Mhm.
Okay, so that night of June 10th
Mhm.
is when the incident happened. Nick travels. She bought him a bus ticket.
Mhm.
He texts her before he gets there, things happen.
Mhm.
So I don't want to go into all of that, but obviously they flee back to Nick's home, which I feel like had to be such a culture shock for
Mhm.
Gypsy, right? Like maybe it was like fun and games when you were in the hotel, but then once you got to his house and realizing like you don't have your stuff, you know what I mean? Like this is your life. This is not probably what you expected it, and what did you expect in the first place? But so then they text and leave that message on Facebook, and that is when all hell breaks loose and everyone in the community starts wanting to know about Dee Dee's well-being and welfare, and they find out what happens. So Nick gets arrested, Gypsy gets arrested. I want to say, was it just within hours, you guys, that the confession just came out?
I've watched most of her interview, and I want to watch Nick's. I haven't watched Nick, so I mean I've heard parts and pieces of it.
Nick basically just came out and said what happened when they started questioning him. So there wasn't really much. He didn't do much pushback.
Yeah.
Right. And also, the investigators, I know they can lie to you to an extent to get you to tell the truth. And they came out and said, Gypsy told us everything. So you don't want to get Gypsy in trouble. So you need to tell us everything. So of course, it is weird. You can see there is two sides to Nick. But the one thing about all of that is Nick still claims he only stabbed her 4 times when that is not what matches up to the evidence. So that is why a lot of people are still thinking, did Gypsy get involved? And
I think it's awfully convenient that she was naked cleaning up the crime scene.
Yeah. Yep, I do too.
And so I'm just gonna pin this comment too while we're
there's some good
like
comments going on. I'm watching them over there.
Yeah. You know what I hate about StreamYard is it doesn't let all of our panel like pin or like share.
I noticed that too. Yeah.
I hope that eventually StreamYard upgrades to where we can all run the board at the same time. That would be really cool. Okay, so then I just watched the whole Gypsy thing, interrogation the other day and live streamed it last week, and it's just like so funny how she acts all like, oh, I have a medical condition, you can't lock me up in prison, and it's and I love that the investigator goes, oh no, we'll take care of your medical needs, don't worry, and it was just. And at that point, he knew half of that was all
right.
Yeah, I'm pinning this one. The brownie video, is so cringe when they're in the hotel room eating the brownies.
I drove by that yesterday or the day before yesterday.
The hotel. How much do you think it costs a night?
Oh, probably 60 to 85, depending on the day and what's going on.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Sometimes I'm just like so in shock she wasn't too scared to do some of the things she did.
Me too.
Stay in a seedy hotel or get on a bus.
Me too. I'm like,
it suggests that she wasn't as naive or
exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I want to see her Google search history.
Yeah,
You
could you
know?
imagine?
No,
Could
I
you
can't.
imagine
Like,
how many pages that would be?
I
My
know,
gosh.
right? Yeah.
So, as we all know, Gypsy, gets sentenced and does a plea deal and gets 10 years in prison, but what, she only served 8, was it?
Yeah.
8.5.
Years?
Yeah.
Okay. Nick in for life. And I wanted
No.
to Amber to repeat again, just for anyone who's joining in now. You said that he is filing pretty much an
Habeas
appeal, right?
corpus. Yeah, habeas corpus appeal, I guess, for at the federal level, because he's gone through all of his appeals here. And I remember them talking about it, back in October or whenever, when all those marches or protests and stuff were supposed to happen. And then we did the clemency letters and stuff. But I never really understood what was going on. And I find it interesting, though, that Greene County had been collecting all of this stuff and had it in front of the lawyers for a couple of weeks before I was denied the FOIA.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Something seems
Yeah.
to have changed.
Yeah. And, yeah, I don't want to say anything's corrupt or anything like that, but sometimes it's convenient how things get released at certain times. And, I've noticed a lot, just working in the news industry. It was always interesting and convenient how news releases got released around 3:45, just before the 4 o'clock news started, right?
Yeah, I've
So
heard
you're
that. Yeah.
scrambling to try to get, the information and get to the story. But so yeah, back to this timeline. So she serves her time and she gets so we begin with she meets Ken while she's locked up. They break up. She meets Ryan, locked up. They get married. So when she gets released, you guys, in 2024, she leaves and moves in with Ryan. And we all know that this has turned into a shit show with Gypsy getting pregnant, having a baby with Ken while still married to Ryan.
Yeah.
So they claim that they reunited in April 30th of 2024. I'm beginning to wonder if Ken and Gypsy had planned this while she was still locked up, if that makes sense, with Ryan. But she needed Ryan's help to kind of get herself situated on the outside.
So that being said, one of the juicy things that I found today that went out 4 hours ago in People was Gypsy Rose Blanchard explains why she and boyfriend Ken Erker, I guess that's how you say his name, will be using IVF for baby number 2.
Yeah. Well, she
I
said
know,
that,
right? That's what I did, Jen. I was like, wait, what?
She said it in the Tori Spelling conversation.
Did she?
Yes.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Really?
So, yeah, really.
Yeah, but so my cousin's in Chillicothe for 25 years.
Okay.
And she hears stuff a lot. A lot of people now know that she's the person to go to talk about Gypsy in prison.
Yeah.
So they tell me a lot of stuff. I keep a lot of stuff, on the down low because, I don't know what's true and what's not. But I will say that according to all accounts, and there's been several accounts, they were plotting and planning to reunite after she got out of prison, even to the very day before she got out of prison, sitting in the lunchroom talking to people about it. So that's what I've heard.
Yeah, that's, and I just get this weird feeling that Gypsy knows Ken is after the money and is more I don't know,
If she
smart. with what to do with that, if you know what I mean, and like how to continue to make money and churn, when I really do feel Brian was just looking for love kind of thing. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God.
I believe he was.
So can I y'all tell me? I can read it, right? Why she says it?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Because somebody in the chat just asked it, and it says, basically she gets asked if she want to have another baby, and she said she wouldn't conceive without IVF. She said, but we will have to use IVF for our next one because the one medical condition that I actually do have, it's called microdeletion. She explains, so it's just a long word for I'm missing a small piece in each of my first chromosomes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she says.
Okay, so that's why they're saying they want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so what made you not do that in the first place then?
That's what I asked. What to say? I mean, you had Aurora, and you obviously weren't using birth control, so it's like, I'm gonna look up what that microdeletion is. It's probably not even a thing. Watch.
No, it's a real thing.
Is it? Okay, I'm like,
yeah,
wait, what is that?
She really does have it.
And I'm curious what you guys think. Like, I do think Gypsy had health conditions growing up. Was it to the extent all of that stuff was needed? I don't think so. Like, and I wasn't there, so I can't say,
Look at her eyes.
Right.
Look at her eyes.
I do think maybe Dee Dee took it too far, but I do think she was trying to help her daughter and do things. And one of the interesting things we'll hear in the Tori Spelling interview when we listen a little bit is how she kind of talks about like, oh, I have so much anxiety going to the doctor, and I'm like, girl, you just got a nose job.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh, that's another thing in the news. Hold on, it says, I'm sorry, it says something about people are making fun of her nose and her big ass and her nose.
No, her big ass nose.
Oh yeah, it says her big ass nose. Trolls are making fun of her big ass nose. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, I find some of these headlines absolutely hilarious. So.
Yeah. So Anna says something's genetically wrong. Yes. So that's what I think. We can kind of like go down the line. You pull up chat. Like, Amber, do you feel that the Munchausen by proxy was a legitimate thing?
No, not at all.
You don't?
Nope.
Okay, I don't think by proxy was. Okay, because there's Munchausen's, which is me doing to myself.
Nope.
And then there's Munchausen by proxy. So you need neither one existed.
Okay, so I think that it was malingering all the way on both parts.
Okay.
Malingering, lying, grifting. It wasn't about Munchausen. Any child who suffers from Munchausen by proxy or is the victim of Munchausen by proxy are made sick.
Yeah.
Gypsy was not made sick. Gypsy was born sick. And Jen, I've heard you talk about your autoimmune issues and stuff like that. Okay, I went to the rheumatologist today. 20 years ago, they started trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I was getting fevers. I was sick all the time. They thought I had non-Hodgkin's. They did 2 bone marrow biopsies, which was awful in office.
Yes, that's very painful.
And then they thought I had a Mediterranean disease. Then they thought I had a couple of other things. And then I tested positive for lupus, but because I don't have all the symptoms, they say you don't have lupus. So today, and then I was diagnosed with undifferentiated connective tissue disease, which means they don't know what's wrong with me. For 20 years, I have been going to the VA, seeing specialist after specialist after specialist. And I'm talking about people who work at USF and, University of Southern Florida and all these different hospitals that are connected to these colleges and teaching places and things like that. So we get a lot of people, you know, I mean, I even had one guy who was so excited because he thought that he had figured out that I had this rare disease, and he was going to write all these papers, and he was telling me about all these papers he was going to write and everything. 20 years now down the line, went there today, and they're like, yeah, we still don't know what's wrong with you, and we're going to run our own tests now and just start from scratch and see what's wrong. So it's hard to get a diagnosis.
It is. Yeah.
And it's hard when you're sick to get help.
Yep. I'm struggling right now trying to find out what's wrong with me. I know it's autoimmune. I've had 2 very serious events in my life, one of which nearly took my life. And right now, I know when it is autoimmune, and I'm sure you guys can read your own body too. I mean, I know there's something wrong. So my feeling right now, it scares me a little bit, because I'm having a lot of weakness in my arms and legs and a lot of foot drag on one of my feet that still has neuropathy residual in it. And so it's starting to really scare me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to a rheumatologist starting there, and gonna see what's wrong this time. So
did they test you for MS?
Yeah, they did. It's been a long time, so we're gonna do that again. Yeah,
that's the hard thing to catch. I was very, very lucky that I was in the middle of a flare, and the best way they described it is they're like your MRI lit up like a Christmas tree with lesions, in your spine and brain. But when I joined a lot of these groups, I learned it is very hard to catch any of these autoimmune diseases we're talking about.
Yeah, I had one called sarcoidosis.
Wow, I've never even heard of that.
That's what I thought I had for a while too.
Did you? Yeah, mine was acute, thank God, because there's chronic, and that'll kill you. And the other one I had was GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome. So those were just 2 huge events in my life, and now I always get real scared. So now I'm nervous again because I'm like, oh God, it's just, you don't know what it's going to manifest.
So
yeah,
Gypsy
and the stress makes autoimmune 10 times worse.
It does.
Just making it worse.
Yeah, and Gypsy talks about having anxiety of going to the doctor, and like you said, she got a nose job, and she's now going to go get fertility treatment and other things. And so since I was born, I've been sick. I had a hole in my heart. I had open heart surgery at a young age, and I've been sick ever since. And I have teeth that grew. I had baby teeth that didn't fall out, and so I had to have them pulled, and now I have gaps in my teeth. I have had the money to fix my teeth for years, and I choose not to because I'm afraid to go through that.
Yeah, because you are actually feeling those PTSD symptoms when you think about going to do these procedures. And that is where I begin to feel that Gypsy learned that it felt good to grift. And I don't want to talk ill about Dee Dee, but let's be honest, some of the things she was doing was not on the up and up.
Right. 100%.
Those are facts. Those are facts.
Yeah.
And
I just can't believe everybody fell for it. I mean,
so the medicine cabinet, if you actually zoom in on all of the medicines,
actually, I'm going to try to pull a picture of that up while you guys are talking.
Most of them are like allergy medicines, things like that. All stuff that is, pretty commonplace.
Yeah.
See, what people don't understand is that when you are in the government system, so like for instance, the VA, they will send me medication and they'll send me like boxes of it. At a time.
I do know that.
They're like, this is your fulfillment for the entire year, right? Kind of thing.
Yes, I have a huge safe over there. And at one time, when I was on all the medicines that the VA had prescribed to me, the whole top of it was completely full of medication.
Wow.
from
Wow.
fentanyl patches to morphine to, whatever.
Right.
It was all locked up in there.
Yeah.
There's no medicine in there now
Mhm.
because I don't take any medicine that's dangerous,
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I mean, the medicine cabinet looks bad,
Uh-huh.
but when you really stop and think about the programs they were on and the different things that they did, I think it was just more about getting a supply
Yeah.
and not using the entire
Yeah.
supply, because I was guilty of that as well. Not using the entire supply because I would forget to take my medicine or whatever,
Mhm. Yeah,
Well, I
I
also feel Dee Dee was a hoarder. Like just looking at, she bought a lot of things that they didn't even use, and it's kind of
Mhm.
like if it was on sale, they bought it. And
Mhm.
I feel like the medicine was probably
Wow.
I
See,
I do the same thing, you guys. Like sometimes I get scared because I'm on with so much pain, post chemo and with the MS. I get
Uh-huh.
these weird panics where like, okay, like look, we just bombed over in Iran. I'm scared. What if the whole world shuts down and I can't get my medicine? You know what I mean? So like, I think
Jen,
of,
when you were posting all that stuff, I was sitting there
yeah,
going, she's going through something. She's got something going on. I was like, I don't know.
yeah.
I
I
just kind of
mean,
felt like you had something, not just telling us about it behind the scenes. I felt like maybe there was something, because I do
well,
the
it's
same
like,
thing.
we keep seeing things happening, and then I'm
Mhm.
just like, shit's gonna hit the fan one day where we're
Yeah.
not gonna be able to get our
Yeah.
hands on
You're
stuff, kind
so
of like
right.
COVID.
Yep.
And so like sometimes I wonder if this, like, so I pulled up the medicine cabinet. I'm wondering if that's kind of why Dee Dee was like, I'm scared we're gonna run out, so like we
Yeah.
just keep ordering it, and maybe we're not even using it, kind of thing.
yep.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, but you also see that there's a lock that was
Yeah.
on there.
she was
Yeah.
in the process of installing that lock, because the other part of that lock and a pin or something is on the bathroom counter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, and on the door you can see the pin mark where she lined it up to put it on.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. So, and kind of saying what you're saying, I'm looking at this medicine cabinet and I'm thinking, God, I really am hurting really bad and I can't get anything because of, all the rules on pain meds or whatever. And I've gotten naproxen and something, I can't, begins with an M.
Meloxicam.
Yes,
You
that.
know what? I feel
And,
like there's
and
a
it
lot of
doesn't do
people
a
in the
damn
chat.
thing for me. It doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't.
Mm.
Yeah, and the whole thing, that happened with the methadone in Ryan Anderson, that fired me up, you guys, because I talked about this with Amy. I was so scared. The doctor wanted me to try methadone. Actually, methadone is used for pain management. It's not just to get off
Right.
medicine. So that really pissed me off when Gypsy outed him for that, to make
Yes.
him look like a drug addict, when
That
it was
was
like,
so freaking
how
wrong.
do you right? How do you know why he uses it? How do you know why he takes it?
Exactly.
And I hated that. I feel like in our chat we're getting a lot of people also who are talking about having health issues.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I
looking at
want
it.
people to
Yeah.
know that we're definitely going to be doing more podcasts too, where we talk about autoimmune and mental health, you guys. So if you're new here, please subscribe to like any three of us, and we'll be collaborating in the summertime, talking more about that too, where we're not even talking about true crime, but we talk about health. And I want to invite all of you guys.
It's so important to talk about
Yeah.
it because, like, just you sharing what you just talked about. I mean, it's like I didn't even, know that the military does that. And my son gets meds. He's on. Anyway, I can't. Never mind. I can't talk about that. But anyway, he gets meds like that too, like boxes full.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and he has pain meds, and he goes, Mom, if he didn't have the job that he has, then he would say, do you need one pill, or do you, every now and then, you know what I'm saying? I mean, but we don't do any of that because we have values and integrity, and the other part of it is because, we can't. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, I've given a friend a Xanax when they needed one.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be real.
Sure.
I mean, I don't give them the bottle. I give them one. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
so it's that kind. And people are looking to those types of situations and the street now to get the meds they need.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Well,
y'all.
yeah,
That's
they
a real sticking spot with me, man.
No, I agree.
No, it definitely is. And they talk about, like, the normal housewife, like
Yeah.
wife with kids going down to, like, okay, I'm in Michigan right now, so I'll use Detroit as an example, but like going down to Detroit to get street drugs because
Yeah.
they can't get, or what they're using prescribed by the doctor isn't working anymore. And like that shit happens. It's real. And
Look
I
what
mean, we could talk about the
just
pharmaceutical
said,
company. Yeah.
Jen. You see that
Well,
comment?
yeah.
The one above it.
Yeah.
That's a true statement. That happens all the time right there. And that is so
Yes.
heartbreaking to me.
It does. It does break my heart. Yes.
I did not mean to interrupt you like that, but I saw that. I didn't want it to roll by.
You're important.
Yeah.
That's important. And I want, everyone to come back and join us when we do those health podcasts.
Yeah.
So I did a list too of kind of like, what does parole mean for Gypsy? So we do know she can't live with Ken. And this was for Missouri though. Now I am a little lost. Maybe Amber, you know this better than I do, but is her parole still have to follow Missouri's guidelines, even though she lives down south?
So, because she's followed by Missouri, they're the in charge, and then Louisiana is just supposed to, extend a helping hand and be there for her.
Okay. So these should be accurate, you guys. So regular check-in.
I didn't know there was anything. I thought when you're off parole, you were just off.
Well, this is when she was on parole.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't hear that part. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. So, and then something interesting too. She, in her interview with Tori Spelling today, said she's not off parole till tomorrow. But I'm wondering if that's just some BS to throw
I
people
caught that
off.
too. I was wondering, what's that about?
Well, here's the thing. And also, so like, we'll go through this real quick. So this is kind of how Gypsy has been living her life. Regular chickens, either in person or virtually. Our curfew. We know she cannot, be kind of traveling around and staying with Ken without them knowing and checking in. Now, the no drugs and alcohol. I'm a little confused on that because hasn't she been drinking alcohol?
That's what I've seen, but I don't know.
She's never been pictured, as far as I know, with any alcohol in her hand.
What about on New Year's Eve? I thought and I know it's only a toast for champagne, but that's still alcohol.
They said it wasn't alcohol. It was like sparkling grape juice or something like that.
Okay. Well, they have a lot of lighters around the house. I know they smoke cigarettes, but I assume they do drug testing for marijuana. And I don't think in Louisiana, marijuana is legal. And also, it's probably something you shouldn't really be doing around your newborn baby anyway. So,
yeah, it should be medical if it is.
Yeah. Restricted travel. Employment and education requirements. So this is where I always wonder for her. She obviously is using TikTok, YouTube, her book, and all of that as I'm employed. I am making an income. But I feel like I'm seeing a little bit of a panic lately with the starting of the YouTube page.
Yeah.
Like, is she getting more pressure to actually, have a real 9-to-5 type job? or is she gonna get away with being a celebrity? It'll be interesting. I wonder if you have to meet a certain income requirement.
That's what I was just fixing to ask.
But also, you're a mom now. So what if you decided to be a stay-at-home mom? Do they consider that employment, a job?
They should.
Yeah, they should. But
They should. They should. That, you know, I was actually trying to reach out to someone and see if we could get like a parole officer, not in Missouri, but a different one to kind of help us out tonight, but they were unavailable because I kind of just wanted to like get the real juice, get the real tea on what she might be dealing with on a daily basis. Okay. So no contact with felons or certain people. So that would be, we all know Nick. He cannot even like talk to someone that knows Nick, right? I think that's kind of a part of the whole gist too, that she got in trouble mentioning him or something, and it got back to him where like the circle of you cannot even be contacting anybody. And it's interesting because her friend groups seem to get into some trouble. So I'm like,
her people are speaking to Nick, and they're speaking to Nick for her.
Gypsy. I swear.
Hey, CJ.
So she's got.
Hope,
God.
That's what I've been told. Yep.
I would imagine the only thing she's trying to do is have him keep his mouth shut. And have him on her good side so he doesn't come out with a book and doesn't come out with more details about what happened besides what happened in the interrogation. Because I'm sure there's more that he didn't say.
So I don't think he'll ever speak out.
You don't?
Maybe
unless he
even
is
signed
in
an
trial.
NDA.
No. You're talking about Nick, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Nick will ever speak out about Gypsy. Is that who you're talking about? Unless it's during a trial.
Huh. Jen, are you there?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he is like still in love with her, you guys. I do
too.
And I don't think he's gonna talk shit. Like, look at how she gets these guys to fall for her, the way Ryan does, and the way, you know, Joy, are you talking about Morbid? And if you are, I don't have any details on what happened. He is a content creator who has been hugely following Gypsy for over a year, and he was going live all the time, and all of a sudden he's just kind of, I don't know, Amber, if you've heard anything about it, but
so what I understand, and I picked up on this very early on when I started listening to him, and so it's been over a year now, and when he's bored with something, he pivots, and he was bored, and a lot of people are bored, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think that's just what it is. Yeah,
I did reach out to him, and we kind of chat back and forth a little bit vaguely, and I did go on panel a couple times, and I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I just didn't feel it was for me. I'm all about facts, and I feel like I was kind of boring for his crowd. Like, they don't like, Amber, you're laughing because like I feel like I was kind of like the wet rag, like I wasn't having fun, and I don't know. And so I told him, I was like, I have nothing against you. I'm like, but I'm probably not going to come up on panel anymore, because also a lot of people were pissed that I reached out to confirm, and I found out that Ryan didn't actually lose his job.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, why'd you reach out to his job? And was like, people took it the wrong way, and they thought I reached out to let them know about the texts between him and Ken, which was not the case. Like, I reached to a media contact, and I was like, hey, can you confirm to me whether he got fired or not? And they're like, no, he's still employed. I'm like, all right, cool. That's all I wanted to know. I want the facts, you know? And I think that bothered a lot of people. And then I just realized, I'm like, you know what? I don't know if this group is right for me, but I do respect him. I think what he does takes a lot of work, running a panel of like 6 people. It's hard work.
Yeah. So I like Morbid. He's funny, you know, sometimes he gets a little carried away, or his chat gets carried away, or his panel, you know, and that's not my vibe. I'll come in and come out, you know, but you know, I'm there to hang out and catch the latest gossip. I hardly ever remember any of it or anything like that, but you know, and I tune out a lot. I do.
Yeah.
But
I met
you know,
a lot of great people, you know, through him.
Yeah.
Like, I love Toddy. She's awesome. Case is really cool. And I'm noticing like a lot of people have been dismantling though from panel. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And it's funny because like I'm reaching out to people and they're like, I don't know. Do you know? Do you know? You know, I'm just like, all right, I don't know. But of course, I noticed he was doing a lot of Watts content. So I'm like, oh boy, we're going to have a Watts summer. And he said, I'm not doing lives. And I go, yeah, you will. You're going to do a live. I was like, you just wait. You're going to do one.
I was listening to Amy talk about the witchcraft and all that stuff the other day. I was laying down to go sleep. I couldn't sleep. I wasn't feeling good. And I was like, oh, I need to listen to something that'll actually, you know, get me thinking about something different. I was like, dang, I want to start looking at all that stuff now just to see if I can, you know, really put it together, because I've never really followed the Watts case. I mean, I know what happened, but I didn't follow it.
Yeah.
Oh, Amber, you know, I remember, like, Carrie, I think you're like in it like I am. I remember you guys.
I don't like when somebody spouts out just stuff, and I'm like, when I know the facts, and I'm like, you know what I mean? It's just like very simple fact: the oil that was in those tanks was not black, and the reason I know this is because I watched a whole article on it and a whole show about it. And if you notice, when those guys were rescuing the girls, getting them out, they're not covered in black oil.
Yeah.
It was a mixture of water and oil, some sort of oil. It begins with an F. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, just stuff like that. She was saying black oil. I'm like, it wasn't black. You know, I wonder how full the tanks were. Well, I can tell you. I mean, you know, that kind of thing. It's like,
when you get into that case, Amber, like, you're gonna get hooked and stuck in it. So like, you know, into the weeds. Like, when you do start diving into it, and like make sure it's something like you can commit yourself to, because I feel like right now you're kind of committed to this right now. You're requesting your FOIAs and all that, and you're like, you're on this. But when you do start getting into Watts, like you're in it. Like,
your neck is gonna break. You're gonna snatch so quick.
I don't think I'll ever cover the Watts case unless something on Nicole Kessinger catches my eye.
Girl, preach.
But I am going to start covering the Jelani Day case, which is a young man who was found dead on the Illinois River after he went missing. And it's obviously a homicide. His car was found in one place. His clothes were found in another. His phone was found in another place.
Wow.
And so I'm going to have his mom and sister on in a couple of weeks to talk to him about it.
Wow.
Will you do a post to keep us updated when you are going to do that live stream? If you guys don't, please go follow Amber. I'm like freaking out. I don't mean to cut you off, but Olga, I have been looking for you for freaking weeks. Olga is a fellow breast cancer warrior, you guys.
Oh wow.
And I have been like, she just had surgery a couple weeks ago, and I've been like so worried about you. So I'm so glad you jumped into the chat right now. And I'm like, where has she been? She's one of the regulars. Yeah, she's one of the regulars who does Watts. And that's the interesting thing, you guys, about this community is it's like, I feel like you've got your Gypsy Rose community, you've got, you know, this community, you got the Watts community, you know, Koberger. And it's just like you start intertwining and meet a lot of different people and you really connect. And that's, I hate that true crime happens, but really good things do come out of it where we meet great people and we connect.
And I followed the Karen Reed case, and it was fabulous. And the reason it was is just because watching the defense attorneys and the prosecution fight was amazing. Like the mistrial, that when they tried to get the mistrials and like the closing arguments, the defense off the chain.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that part of it too. I mean, it just was incredible. So I know it was about a crime. Yeah. I know it was about John O'Keefe. That's what I'm saying. I don't lose that, but I get real into like how the actual attorneys and the lawyers and the judges and all that stuff are acting and like what they're saying and what the jury must be thinking. Like I get real. So yeah, I agree with that. So.
The only case where I actually paid attention to that kind of stuff was in the Orrin and Orson case, Orrin and Orson West. And that was an extremely tragic situation of two boys who were taken away from their mother, put into foster care, adopted, and then the adoptive parents murdered them. So.
Oh, God. That's
the
awful.
Adopted parents.
Wow. That's awful.
Yeah, just sick.
And
and
you're
one
right,
thing about
you get all intertwined. I'm sorry, Jen. I just like that.
No, you're fine.
I mean, so fabulous. I was like, dang.
And I feel like the great thing about collaborating with you guys, and I told Carrie this too, like sometimes I'm really picky about who I collab with. I feel like you guys do want to do good when we can and raise awareness about things. And like if we do fundraisers, we do fundraisers. And if I'm going to talk about true crime, I want to make something good come out of it. And I feel you guys feel the same exact way. So
I only fell into true crime. I was originally going to talk about Meghan Markle.
Really?
So I only fell into true crime because my cousin was incarcerated with Gypsy. That's the only reason.
Wow. I mean, that's a cool way to fall into it. I don't mean that your cousin's in jail, but you know, I mean, my son's been in jail as well. So it's like, you know, it's just, that's kind of a cool way to fall into it. I mean,
have you already had your cousin on the podcast?
Yes, twice. I've also had a woman who tutored Gypsy for her GED.
God, to have your cousin on would be so fabulous.
Do you have a Gypsy playlist?
No, I don't. I don't do any playlists or anything. I'm a disabled veteran who does it for cognitive and recreational therapy.
Yeah, I'm in the process.
Well, you guys go over to Amber's page if you wanna get all the tea from the cousin that is actually incarcerated. So
there's not a whole lot of tea because we can't
verify tea, girl. That's tea.
We can't verify everything. And oh my gosh, I would hate if somebody actually like FOIA'd our calls.
Right.
Hey, I'm gonna do
I'm like, that wasn't me. That was you. I'm like,
they would have a whole lot of time to listen.
Yeah. I love this chat. There's some good people in this chat. I'm like, I know y'all can hear me laughing every now and then. I'm like, sort of laughing at the chat. It's like really funny.
But no, my cousin, my cousin talks to, you know, the guards, the the social workers, all of those
Yeah.
people that interacted with Gypsy, and not one person has anything good to say about her except, well, one person,
Wow.
I'll say one person, and that person has never come out as being exposed, so I'm not going to expose that person.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, you guys, I want to play these interviews if you're down to listen to them.
I'm down.
Sure.
I'm going to pull them up, and what we're going to do is we'll pause when we want to talk about it. Just yell out pause when we want to jump in and say something.
Same thing in the chat. I'm watching you guys, so if you see something you want to
Yes.
stop on, throw it in the chat. I'm watching us.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am.
And so I did something fun with this. I am the type of person who like really likes visuals, so this
too.
should be captioned so we can actually am I streaming somewhere other than YouTube? No, I'm not, Anna. I'd like to like learn to do also on TikTok, but like I'm not cool on TikTok, you guys. I gave up trying to be cool on TikTok.
Aw.
But hey Don, how are you?
Joy says she's
so
sick
we'll-
of GRB, but this has a great vibe.
Well, Joy, stick around because we talk about other true crime.
Yeah.
Actually, we're kind of disappointed. All three of us were following the Travis Decker case. There is nothing new, you guys, to report. And
I saw something
I don't
today
wanna
that
just
said they think he's died now. Because it's been
I'm
so
starting
long.
to think he's dead too.
I'm not believing that. I don't know. But I'm starting to think so too.
I don't know.
Anna, I'm just wondering, why does it like show I'm streaming somewhere else? I shouldn't be.
Oh, because I'm
That's
streaming
what
to
I
my
heard, Olga.
channel. I'm streaming to my channel.
and that's one thing. Oh yes, I am one of those people who like I'm not obsessed with my views. I let everybody restream. Like if you're on my panel, restream. I don't care. We're all here together. We're having fun. I don't care if it takes views away from my channel. This is about like having fun. Oh my God, girl, Sheriff Morrison.
I still haven't seen a picture of this guy.
Oh,
I
you
guess
mean
I
the
didn't pay
hottie?
attention.
Oh, Jesus. Girl, let me show you a picture of this
I'm gonna
man.
go find
This
one.
is
I'm
a
gonna go find
beautiful
one.
man. Okay, yeah, you do it. I'm talking about he is
I'm
beautiful.
going to find one real quick.
Yeah.
Just so y'all know, Joy's very feisty. Watch her.
Oh, bring it, Joy.
Well, I love feisty. Oh, girl, I found one that looks I've never seen before. Okay,
So
well,
I'm like, I want to see too.
I'm getting it. But yeah, you guys,
and his voice
trying to
even,
like,
I'm like, I just purr.
we were
I'm like,
trying to follow, different cases. This one, obviously, nothing's happening with it, but it is so much like the Watts case, you guys, where it's unfortunate that the three girls did pass away, and okay, here's McDreamy.
Okay, I get it now. I get it now.
Let me get one in the uniform though. I think
Joy says his wife is beautiful. Where'd that go? Oh, his wife is beautiful too. A friend did recon on his Facebook.
Well, I would think you know what? She must be having a real kick out of all the girls though, because it is not just us that have been making these comments about him being like good looking and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised they haven't done like a story on how much attention he was getting.
Yeah, some of the people in chat are talking about Decker now. Yeah, it's horrible, y'all. It's horrible. And you know, I kind of, in one chat that I did, or one panel that I did, I kind of compared it to Chris Watts. And the reason I did is because those girls, Decker's girls, were old enough and they couldn't have all been done at the same time.
Yeah.
They were done in view of each other, and they knew what was happening.
Yeah.
So, you know, that to me is even more terrifying if you can imagine that. I mean, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
that's just my opinion, you guys. That's just my opinion.
Oh, I agree.
Yes, I know. We were talking about that the other day, how terrifying it had to be.
Yeah.
So
So I guess her levity
all
is
of
this
the
detective
girls.
right here because he is just so beautiful. He's like,
All right, I got one of him in uniform before we listen
oh
to
God, he's
Tori
so
Spelling.
good.
Where'd it go? There it is. But yeah, if we do get more updates, you guys, I'm sure eventually we will get updates, but it's just taking forever to find. So there's he looks better in his presser, but
Yeah,
Yeah, the other
the
picture looked
green
better.
short sleeved one
I
because he's like
can't
really
find
built,
it.
like really built. I mean,
Yeah.
He just
Okay.
looks like a young military guy or something to me.
handsome, handsome. But what was really funny is me and Jen laid eyes on him exactly at the same time. We were on a panel and like he popped up. Me and her both were like,
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be professional and keep it cool, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna say it. This guy's good looking. We're gonna talk about it.
You
So
should go in the military.
yeah, he asked one of the reporters, "Can you come a little closer?" And Jen goes, "Yes, I can."
yes, I would. Oh Lord. So back to this.
I'm sorry. This is fun, you guys. This is fun.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so we'll listen to Tori Spelling. Just so you guys know, I do respect copyright law, so I will not play it in its entirety. And of course, we will stop, comment, that kind of thing. So I'm going to add it to the stage. And so Tori's
That is a bad wig.
podcast is called Misspelling. You know, something that I really hated, and I'm going to go ahead and confess it. People always told me I look like Tori Spelling growing up, and it's because I have the long oval face. And I was always
you're
kind of
prettier than
offended by
Tori
it.
Spelling. I never thought she was pretty. That's just my opinion.
I was just like, really? That's like my celeb look-alike?
No.
I don't see it because she's even kind of got like a cockeyed face or like it's kind of wonky.
It is, yeah.
And she just messed up her face even worse with all that plastic surgery.
She did. I'm like, girl, why?
I am trying to figure out. Oh, hey, Pink Cloud. If you want to come up on panel, let me know. I'm trying to figure out why.
Joy, I love Joy.
Why she felt connected to talk to her. Like I know Tori Spelling had childhood trauma, you know, with her dad and putting her in acting and all that crap, but I feel like she hasn't really done her research on Gypsy. And you can kind of tell, like, when they're talking, she seems a little lost on her full backstory. And I feel like if Tori really dug in, she might step back and be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be giving this person a platform. I don't know.
The way she spoke to her, it didn't seem like she was that type of person to actually make a real good judgment call.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always
want
to like respect that I know producing and doing that is a lot of work, but I just felt like there was a lot of parts where I could tell like that Tori didn't really know what she was talking about. And I'm like, I don't know. I was just kind of like, if you're going to bring someone this controversial on your show, you need to do your research. I'm not hating on her, but I'm just saying.
No, I agree. 100%. Yeah.
I just don't know what her reasonings are for feeling so strongly to like support her. But
yeah.
Anyway, we'll listen to it. We'll pause. Just I don't know. Maybe raise your hand if you're like, I gotta say something. Well, shit. How are you gonna do it, Carrie? Your camera's not on.
Oh, I don't know because it's really funny because I thought about that today. My hair is in messy bun. I have a headband on. I don't have a stitch of makeup on. I'm like, I have got to do my hair and go live one night. I mean, it's like I've got to. It's like, because I was actually getting a Diet Coke before I got on here, and I was like, should I jump in the shower? And I was like, no, it's like 7:00. I'm like, I'm not doing it. It's like,
I know.
I doubt
I
she's
didn't
paying her own
feel
bills.
like the makeup today either. And I'm like, I think we have a pretty good non-judgmental group.
Oh
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, that's just a Southern girl in me.
Okay.
I'm like, my grandma said, you don't go to 7-Eleven without your makeup.
Without your face on.
That's what she
Yeah,
said.
your face
Yeah.
on.
Okay. Here we go.
Love
What's
Joy.
going on?
Joy, I want to be your friend.
Right.
Yeah, I like Joy.
She's not ready, but hey, Christy. Yeah. Tori wants to meet you.
Oh, tell her to take her time. We can talk, and then she could come in when she feels ready.
Oh my God. She's like, oh my God.
So gosh, I don't even know where to jump in. Like, I feel like I came into this interview. It's not an interview. It's
Right.
a podcast chat amongst friends. But I came into this thinking, gosh, what do I even talk to her about? Like, I feel like, do you feel talked to death? God, no pun intended. Excuse my slip there.
None.
Okay, so that was like that was not planned, right?
Oh my God.
Like
Probably not.
what? How awkward. Yeah, Joy's in there.
I'm
with me.
sorry. That is hilarious.
What?
I'm going to mute myself for a minute. I'm like having an attack.
Oh my gosh. And then Gypsy's like, oh my God, no, it's okay. You know, like, oh Lord.
I make jokes when I get nervous. About talking about your past.
I mean, I think that, yeah, I mean, I'm tired of talking about it. I think that, like, at this point, you know, my
I'm tired of talking about it, but I'm still gonna come on your show and talk about it.
parole ends day after tomorrow. So on the 26th.
Congratulations.
So what's the deal with the 26th, guys? I'm like, oh my God, Olga, don't choke. She's like, I'm laughing so hard, I choked myself.
Oh my God, I was too. I was crying.
Oh shit. I'm very confused at why the parole date changed. I don't know. Does anyone know?
No, I don't know.
No, and she would know that
Finally.
date very well.
Hey, Pink
Yes.
Pie wants to come up. Did you see that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab oh, there she is. Okay, let me add her. Okay, unmute. Wait, I can't. Oh, she has to unmute herself. Hey girl.
Hey ladies, how y'all doing?
Good. How are
Good.
you?
Good. Thank you for the invite. Crafted sent me the StreamYard link earlier today, which was really sweet. So I figure, sure, I'm
Yes.
invited. Why not?
I know you've already listened to some of this, most of it, probably all of it, but I figured, you know what, we'll like listen to a little bit, we'll pause, we'll comment, and
already paused like 3 times or like 3 minutes in. So.
But oh my gosh, that ending was so odd. To be honest, you guys, if I was the producer of the podcast, I might have cut that out and been like, let's redo the intro. But I don't know, it was pretty good. So it was pretty entertaining. Oh, talk to death. No pun intended.
will be free woman to the max.
And then you guys are going to come visit me in LA?
I mean, I would love to. We would love to. But yeah, I mean, I do feel like everything is sort of like talked about. And I've entered a completely new phase in my life where it's like, that was my past. I am completely moving forward with everything in my life, with motherhood, and I just have so much going for me that like nobody got anywhere in life by kept on looking in the rearview mirror. So I'm like, I just have my eyes forward.
Definitely. And I mean, you don't want that to define you.
No.
But it
Tori's
does.
like, yeah.
Right? Like, let's be honest. It does define you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it does.
And it always will.
Mhm.
I like the reference to the rearview mirror. Isn't that a song or something? Like a Carrie Underwood song or something. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Because there's so
never
much
wanted
more
that.
to anything.
Well, also, Joy, you literally like took the words out of my mouth. I was not gonna like sit here and make fun of her all the time. But I was thinking to myself, like, which eye is forward?
Applause all around, Joy. Shot time.
Joy wins. Joy wins. I didn't even have to say it.
Human than what their past has offered them up. But do you, and this sounds really cynical, and I'm sorry, but do you feel like, and God, I don't even want to liken this to my situation, but I'm trying to find ways to connect with you, obviously.
Yes, Lee. She's like, I'm trying to connect you because I haven't murdered.
And I grew up in a billionaire mansion.
I had a reality
Oh,
show. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean,
Jesus
don't get me
Christ.
wrong. I do believe that Tori had childhood trauma, but
Oh, yeah.
not. I just don't. I'm really trying to figure out, you guys, why she's drawn to Gypsy. Like, where do you guys think that connection's?
I
clicking?
don't know.
I have a theory.
Go.
What is it?
I have a theory. Okay. So first I wanted to say also hello to Amber and cuff you.
No, a lot of people do that.
I didn't want to like this. Okay. So my theory is that, you know, in the podcast, Tori said that she reached out to Gypsy. Okay, why? Right. Then she said that she commented under one of Gypsy's posts saying something simple like, that was beautifully said, or something like that. And in that moment, Tori got a whole bunch of hate, and she's gotten hate her whole life. But like when she commented on Gypsy, she got like extra hate, right? So my theory is that she is just like Gypsy in the way that she rather have any attention, even negative attention, versus no attention. Because for people like them, attention means clicks, likes, follows, views.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, I guess, money, right? It's what I mean, because they're in the millions of followers and whatnot, but
right,
or you know, depending on their platforms and stuff. So I'm just thinking that, you know, they're both cheaters, right?
Oh,
Tori,
they are.
yes, Tori, yeah. When Tori met her ex-husband Dean, he was married to somebody else.
I did not know
They
that.
started dating.
yeah.
They were filming a movie. I think it was in Canada, like some kind of Hallmark movie or something from
I think so.
Sounds about
like
right.
a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
So that makes Tori a cheater too, because she knew he was married. So they're both cheaters. They both hate their mom. They were both rejected by their fathers. They were both spoiled kids growing up. So I mean, they have a lot in common, and they're just superficial. They're just superficial, attention-seeking people, and they just flock to each other. You know, and that's my theory.
I find it funny that Tori and Dean hooked up during a Hallmark, like one of the most wholesome movies there is, probably.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that connection. Yeah, I agree with you. Especially on the first part. I think Tori has always struggled to be relevant, to be kind, you guys. She's not really the best actress.
No.
And her dad is the reason she got. I will say though, remember, a lot of people don't know this. She was in Saved by the Bell as Screech's girlfriend.
I remember that.
And
Lilac or some weird name like that.
Oh my God, it's going to drive me nuts. Someone in the chat, come on, who knows
what
that?
What was her name? I thought it started with an L or something.
She was like the nerdy girl with 2 braids. Someone's gonna
Mhm.
know it.
I
But that's
don't.
kind of where she got her like kind of big noticeable role. And then obviously her dad put her in 90210.
I was gonna say
Um,
that's where I know her from, 90210.
yeah. And so I think that she does have this trauma of this unnormal Hollywood lifestyle. And maybe that's like, maybe she was rejected and not very popular. And that's where
Pilot.
she, yeah, like feels connected to Gypsy in some way. But I'm having a really hard time. I understand where like Kim Kardashian has connected to her, because Kim is interested in prison reform and Gypsy's Violet. Sorry, it just clicked that that's what you were saying that for. I was like, what did she say? Violet.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm guessing that Gypsy reached out to Kim Kardashian, and so they had that one meeting a million years ago, right? Like, last year.
Yeah.
When she first got out, and Kim probably realized, okay, Gypsy's obviously not serious about prison reform or justice reform, or so they haven't worked together ever since, because Gypsy wasn't serious. She would probably just wanted the likes and follows and views and the picture of. So, like, did y'all see? Have you checked Tori's actual TikTok? She posted a video of the podcast I think about 4 hours ago, and nothing but like, "How dare you, Tori? I'm unfollowing you, Tori."
Really?
Wow.
Well, maybe after this is a recorded video I did, because I did a lot of like editing out, because I don't want to like take everything word for word. I like I put up here a disclaimer, I don't own the copyrights to this. Maybe we can pull that up and go through the
So she went off
comments.
on Tori?
No, it sounds
No,
like the
no.
viewers
The
went off.
comments. In
Oh,
the
okay, got it. Oh,
in the
God,
comments
please.
of
Oh, yeah.
Tori's last
I want to finish
video.
this, though.
No, I know. I'm talking about like
Yeah.
afterwards.
Oh,
If I want
yeah.
to do something, y'all could go check that out too.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
fabulous.
we can pull that up. I feel like, like exactly what you said. You hit the nail on the head with bad publicity is still publicity. And Tori seems to have always really struggled with finding herself, finding her spotlight. And Gypsy's a hot topic right now. So, I don't know who reached out to who or what. To be honest with you guys, I didn't know Tori even had a podcast until 2 days ago.
I didn't either.
So, I'm pretty sure, even though she's going to get more hate than she's ever gotten, this is going to be the most watched, listened to podcast she probably ever does. Episode she ever does, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we will continue.
Like your future, do you feel like that kind of opened up doorways in a positive way? I mean, let's talk positive about the situation, because there's been so much negative.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, would I have been an actress and my father didn't open the door and give me a platform, give me a TV show? No, maybe not. Do you feel like is there any positive to what has happened? That you are given opportunities now, maybe to help others, maybe to, fulfill dreams that you thought, gosh, everyone's focused on my past, but is there a good way?
I mean, I feel like I've been trying to do that for so long. When I was in prison, it was so difficult to be able to sort of rebrand myself. Because it's like I was
rebrand.
I hate, like rebrand. Like, do you guys use that in a casual conversation about yourself? Like, I mean,
nope, only in corporate situations.
Only
right.
Mark
I would say to myself,
branding is literally just like about, marketing.
Yep.
And money making, business, corporations, whatever, those types of things. Not like actual
That's
life,
yeah.
like a real life thing.
I feel like the word she should be using is finding myself. Like that's
Yeah.
what a person who really
Right, or
cares
becoming someone
about
new, or yeah,
Reinventing myself.
bettering
yeah,
myself.
inventing, yeah.
Just the word rebranding to me shows you really don't give a shit about these other people and helping them out.
Exactly.
In advocating. And she's gonna get into that here, and I'm gonna pause in a few minutes because I just like that's a whole nother thing that gets me fired up too.
I would really
Still in
like
the
to
middle
talk
of
about her.
living in it. And now that I'm entering into a new phase in my life, I feel like only now could I start to kind of look back and say, yeah, I mean, I came from, I became well known from a tragic situation, and on both ends, it's like I'm a victim and I'm a perpetrator. So, getting out of the shadow of that is the hardest thing, to be able to have a platform to which to stand on that is respected. It's like I feel like it is only whenever I can break out of that mold that defines me. And it's like I don't want to be defined, but unfortunately I am. The reality is I am. And so what is the course of action moving forward? It's taking accountability and saying, you know what, yes, I am branded a murderer, and I did do the crime, I did do the time. Owning up to my actions is what it's all about, and saying I'm not perfect, I made wrong choices, but this is what I'm doing today to try to move forward. I can never bring back the life that was taken. I can never unhurt.
See, and that's another
Uh,
thing, is not even using my mom. I cannot bring my mother
yeah.
back.
That was a collective sigh from
Um,
all of us. It was like,
it's
yeah,
disheartening. It's kind of like when we listen to the Chris Watts interviews when he says those
yeah,
kids,
yeah. Those
um,
girls, those kids.
those
Yeah,
girls.
yeah.
I don't personally feel she is taking accountability. How do
Mm-mm.
you guys feel?
Exactly the same.
She's not taking accountability. She's saying, this happened to me.
Hmm.
What am I supposed to do about it? I'm trying my best. That's what she's saying.
Yeah, I
This
heard
happened
that.
to me.
Plus, I'm going to use it any way I can. I'm
Yeah.
hearing both of those things. Yeah.
Mhm.
Not sure if
I like what Anna says here, excuses.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this happened to me.
Hmm.
And I like that You're Not Alone says, I don't think she ever will. I think, yeah, I would have a lot more respect for her, and she's going to start talking about this here shortly, but you guys, I really can't see anything she has done advocacy wise. Has she held an event? Not
No,
that I know of.
she has said a couple of times that I'm still trying to figure out what that looks like for me.
Yes.
I've been on parole this whole time and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So that, it's one excuse after the next. Like, I don't know how to do it. I can't do it. I have, I can't. Okay. And then the other thing.
Which we know
Mhm.
you're not going to do. Someone's going to set all of this up for you. It's called a damn manager, a PR, public relations manager. And it could have been done by now. I just feel like she doesn't care to do it.
Right.
I think in order for Gypsy to be an advocate, she's got to prove that she's worthy of people's trust. And the only way that she could rectify the situation is to bring a civil suit against the doctors. Doesn't mean that she'll win, but it's something that she should do as an act of, hey, look, I was wronged. Somebody needs to be held accountable. You should do a
Yeah.
civil suit against the doctors who, supposedly did those surgeries, even though the tests came back positive or negative, or whatever. She needs to show that something actually did happen to her. Because she's talking about doing Munchausen by proxy advocacy in this interview. And there's just no way that she could legitimately do that because she's a known liar. I mean, she's told us all that she lies without remorse.
But isn't that what Munchausen's or vicious disease is? It's lying about your health, and
But she wasn't the one who had Munchausen by or she wasn't the one who had Munchausen syndrome. She was a victim of Munchausen syndrome, supposedly.
Yeah.
She was
But
the
also,
she was
you brought up a good point about Dee Dee was not poisoning her to the point where she was hospitalized either.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a big factor in these cases. Usually they do it just enough to where you survive.
Okay, but let me say this. So during this whole time, and we know this now, that Gypsy was in this wheelchair, she could freaking walk.
Yes.
So that is her taking an active role in her Munchausen.
Correct.
Yes.
If it's Munchausen.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is.
I think it's some sort of fictitious disorder. It is somehow. It's maybe not exactly landing in that diagnosis, but it's definitely in that,
Well, I think she's just a liar.
You were kind of calling it just grifting,
you're right. You're right, Amber.
I think she's just a liar.
You're right.
According to the FOIAs, she told Nick that at 6 years old, she went through a surgery of some kind. She had seizures and she was paralyzed or partly paralyzed or something. And then she never told her mom that she got all the feeling back. I don't know what's true, but that's
she
in
is
the
the
FOIAs.
devil. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is horrible.
So I pulled up these munchy docs. So you're going to hear her in a minute say how there's not much research on it and blah, 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 blah. That's not true. That right there really bothered me, to pretend that you know what they're teaching in medical school, because you don't. I'm sorry, but you don't.
Right.
In some of these documents I pull up, you guys, they're back from the 60s, from the 70s. They're talking about this disease. So this is not new. So when she brings it up, I will pull those back up.
The people that were hurt. But I can at least try and do some good with it. And I've been trying to break out into advocacy. And I've been trying to figure out what that looks like for me. What am I passionate about? I'm passionate about prison reform. I'm passionate about the fact that there is so, if anybody's watched my show, they can tell that I've gone through it with haters online. So I'm kind of stepping into the realm of saying, hey, I'm experienced in being cyberbullied. And I don't think it's right. And there's some things in the system that need to change.
Okay, so what would that look like, Gypsy? It would look like helping draft a bill to, do something, not making a freaking video where you print out on your computer, no bullying, and pointing to a sign in the background.
Why don't we have like a gypsy's law or something,
Yeah.
If we're going to be an advocate, and she's going to actually try to sell this story, why doesn't she go down that road? Why doesn't she partner with medical watchdogs? Why doesn't she do that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I just feel like there's so much talk about, I want to do this, I want to do that. And there's no action. And don't get me wrong, I know you're a new mom. I don't want to mom shame. I know you're busy. I know you're figuring it out. But if you have time to go on these live streams with your friends and goof off,
and
how about doing something better with your time? And I think the reason you're not is because the money is here. It's not doing that.
You're exactly right. Yeah. I mean,
to have better preventative measures from cyberbullying. So it's kind of like, I have a voice. Now let's figure out a way to direct it somewhere in a positive manner. And I wouldn't have this platform if I didn't, do what I did.
what did you do?
What'd you do?
But it's like, you can't change the past. So what can you do? Mold it to where you can better other people.
Play that back. It's like 3 sentences. Oh my God.
I have a voice. Now let's figure out a way to direct it somewhere in a positive manner. And I wouldn't have this platform if I didn't, do what I did. But it's like, you can't change the past. So what can you do? Mold it to where you can better other people in the world and do something with that voice.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course that would be great, but she's not doing that.
She
Right.
doesn't do what she do.
And you've had a long time to do this. You don't have to come out of prison to become an advocate. You could have, the whole book you wrote could have been about something besides yourself.
Mhm.
And all
She
the
was
juicy
too-
details about everything that
That
happened.
is accurate. That's accurate because, she was in prison. Even in prison, she was too busy figuring out how she was going to make a name for herself when she got out.
Yeah.
Working on that documentary, the writing the book, or
God, I forgot about the film crews. You're right. The film crews were
all of
there
those
before.
interviews, the Dr. Phil interview, and all the interviews she did on the inside, and then also having her friend Rachel Garlick and other people, start Instagram or TikTok for her. I think Ryan was the one that started her TikTok, but still, she was still in prison when her TikTok and Instagrams got started. So she worked really hard on being all up in people's faces well before she was released.
I know inmates who are actively pushing for prison reform while inside.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people trying to affect change inside of prison right now. And she had 8.5 years to do something, and she did nothing but talk on the phone for hours. And, she didn't even go to therapy or anything. So,
yeah, the therapy is what is the kicker to me. And I told this on one of the live streams I did with Amy a couple months ago. You guys, I really did feel bad for her in the beginning, but then the more research I did into the case, I found holes, and the facts don't lie. I'm not talking rumors, Gypsy. I'm not talking about who said this, who said that. I mean, I'm talking about like reports, and your actions speak louder than words.
Always.
And I'm not seeing any action.
I agree.
And that's what's frustrating, especially like, God, if I had the opportunity even to be in your shoes, the things I would want to do, the things I would want to do for people with like autoimmune diseases and things like that is just unimaginable, and like Tori Spelling, putting her on her show today, like, shit, like there's so many other people who could have done something today, but I get it. They're not making money. I'm not going to be making you money. So.
Right. And the thing about it is she already has the notoriety. Her name is out there.
Yep.
And she could make a positive swing in a heartbeat. And, then have a real story as far as what she went through and da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Anyway, my brain was just kicked off on that. Sorry.
Yeah, Anna, and this is the one thing that like always drives me nuts is why are you not out there physically helping Habitat for Humanity? I mean, yeah, you made your donation. Personally, I don't think it was that big of a donation. Why aren't you getting people to help volunteer Why are you not, you know what I mean? Like, tell people, go volunteer, do this, please. You know, like today I'm raising money for them. I just don't see any action, and I'm like, I'm waiting for it. You don't have to be 5 years out from prison to start doing something. You could have done something 5 years ago.
Right.
Exactly. And the fact that she doesn't use her platform for good and instead just kind of showing off her, you know, her hair, her nails, her makeup, whatever, all that stuff, you know, superficial stuff, trying to make money and stuff. So instead of using her platform for good, she's using it for her own selfish needs. And that's exactly why the content creators do what they do, right?
Yeah.
And call her out on her selfishness, call her out on her, you know, superficiality and use of social media for her own gain instead of helping others.
Yeah.
And, you know, I will speak on the thing about, you know, I know someone asked about the whole morbid thing. I really think, you guys, that Gypsy and her group did exactly what they wanted. They got shit so stirred up that people stopped focusing on what was really going on and started just fighting back and forth with each other, to the point where the entire podcasts became talking crap about other content creators instead of focusing on, here's what Gypsy did this week. Here's, you know, the facts. Here's what we're seeing. Here's what's going on. And unfortunately, I feel like it was a tactic. I don't know if she's that smart, if it was plotted, but it worked. And now all these content creators are going back and forth with each other. And we are not talking about like Gypsy being on these apps, talking to minors and digging on that and digging more on that kind of thing. And Amber, what you just told me today, no one else has been told me that today about Nick, you know,
About what?
filing paperwork to do about doing a possible appeal. Like, we should be talking about these things. And
are y'all talking about
you
the
know,
habeas corpus?
Yeah, the habeas corpus.
And I feel like we're talking more about the drama than talking about what's really going on, you know? And I'd also have more respect for her. I know she can't talk about him that much, but if she in some way tried to help raise awareness about what she did to him as well, like,
she's never
I
going
don't
to
think
do
she'll
that
ever take
because
accountability for that.
no.
Did you see the story that she posted a while ago about actually about Nick on her story, on her TikTok story?
No.
Okay, well, the short version is kind of like going, okay, I have paid for my dues. Nick is still, you know, where he is because he also chose to do what he did, and she's not helping him in no way, my friend. Okay, you'll see it later.
No, and I believe that she's actively trying to sabotage him now to this day.
I agree. I think she wants him to
Ryan?
No, Nick.
Oh, Nick, yeah.
Nick, who's locked
up.
up.
Every time I think about him, it breaks my heart.
Yeah, I think she's trying to get him to shut up because he probably does have things to say. Okay, even if she doesn't help him, she could raise awareness about mental health.
Oh, yeah.
And schizophrenia, hearing voices, seeing things, that kind of thing.
I would even jump on that wagon with her.
Yeah.
I don't know, you might already do this. Do you talk to people, or are you an advocate for Munchausen proxy, like working with people that have that?
I have talked to several victims that have shared their story. That's why I open myself up on social media, is because there has been so many people that have come to me and then shared their story on a personal level. And I didn't blast them out. I'm like, it's your story to tell. If you want me to, you know, bring more awareness to your situation, I will do that. But whatever you say stays between you and I. That's just that kind of safe space that I have created for people. But I do want to get more involved with organizations, and I have already had several conversations with Munchausen by proxy experts to kind of lead.
Name one.
Okay, who? Like, I want to name them.
Mhm.
I
Well, I
did
did-
more research today, you guys, trying to book a guest for tonight
Uh-huh.
than she probably has talking to experts. I want to know the
Yeah.
names. I
That's what you
really
see.
do.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. Name one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure she's done some research on it, Googling it as much as all of us here have. But
Yeah.
who are these experts? If you rejected therapy in prison, you're
Mhm.
telling me you've connected with experts?
me
I
in the
don't buy
direction
it.
and also make me more knowledgeable, because I can only go on my personal experience. There are so
Right.
many different people that have gone through Munchausen by proxy but had a different experience.
Sorry, I think I said the wrong name.
Oh, you're fine. It's kind of a hard word to say, so
It is definitely. But you believe, like deep down in your soul, is that what your mom had?
I do. Even the doctors had put in the medical records, mother is suspected of having Munchausen by proxy. And that's unfortunately where the system is failing. Is there's not enough education about Munchausen by proxy. There is probably.
Okay, you guys, look at this, just like one article I pulled up, and how many freaking
Sources.
references there
Mhm.
are to other articles and experts, studies. I
Mhm.
mean, she acts like this is something new, and it's not. One of these is from the 60s. Is it talked about a lot? Not really. Hey,
Mhm.
here's your opportunity,
Mhm.
right? And you're not.
Mm-mm.
Probably about a paragraph that doctors learn about in school. It's not enough. Right.
Do you I've read that it's like the heart, like not curable. Do you feel like she could have been cured?
I feel like the system failed her just as much as the system failed me. Because you have to remember, she grew up in the 80s, and I was born in the 90s, and mental health wasn't talked about as much as it is now. And so her own family did not recognize those signs. They just kind of was like, okay, she's the black sheep of the family. She's a little weird. They just categorized her like that and didn't look into the fact that she did have trauma. There was things that happened to her in her childhood that caused her to have trauma. And it went unchecked. She was supposed to be on medication. She did not take her medication like she should have, or at all once we moved to Missouri. So
That's interesting. I wonder why she didn't, like, she was all.
Okay. Me first.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, Gypsy, ma'am, you stabbed her to death. I'm just saying, and you're taking no accountability for your part in your own life.
Mhm.
So I feel so much better. Thank you.
Anna, she was homeschooled. So I will say one thing. I am pretty impressed with how well spoken Gypsy is for not going to a formal education system. I think she really only went to third grade, but that is, I think, a part of grifting is learning to talk the talk, and walk the walk, and be a chameleon and adapt. And being around doctors all the time and learning to just have a conversation and flow and street smart, I guess, is the best way to explain what I'm talking about.
So I feel like Dee Dee educated her somehow, in some way. She definitely knows how to read. She didn't learn how to read in prison. She wasn't struggling to read in prison from all accounts. she was reading Harry Potter and Twilight. These are some big books, you know, and she is well spoken. I have known a lot of grifters. Okay.
Mhm.
Most of them are poor,
Mhm.
and most of them don't present themselves the way that Gypsy does.
Right. Right. I get what you're saying.
Educated.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
seems educated,
Mhm.
at least
Yes.
in the sense that she knows the basics and she knows the basics well, I think.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
she has a good vocabulary.
She has an extremely good vocabulary. That comes with
Yeah.
reading, which,
Yeah,
because
you
I'm a
can sit
reader.
there and read the dictionary. You know, like
Mhm.
Eminem
I
didn't
used
go
to do
past
that.
the 9th grade, and he knows
Yep.
literally every word in the dictionary. And because
Mhm.
he wanted to know all these words to rap with,
Yeah.
he was reading the dictionary.
I used to read the dictionary as well.
I
So,
used to read those encyclopedias,
yeah, those two.
like the
But
book ones. Oh, I
yeah.
still have some.
Yeah, but I just feel like something is not adding up here.
Yeah.
She has more than a second, third grade education. She got it somewhere. Whether Dee Dee was teaching her at home by herself or she was getting curriculum for her or whatever, she had some kind of education.
Well, I mean, even in that one home video when Gypsy's a baby, you know, like Dee Dee saying, "Show me your cranium." You know what I mean?
And
Like
your
these.
phalanges.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, like
Yeah.
whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, you like that's not something you really typically say to the baby. So clearly Dee Dee was interested in education and trying
Mhm.
to, you know, teach her things. But I'm very shocked by how articulate she is for.
Well, the only thing she couldn't pass on the GED was the math. I probably
Interesting.
couldn't pass the GED test on the math
Me
right
probably
now.
either. No.
So, you know, I don't know.
You know, it's really funny you say that because I let my son drop out of school in 9th grade because he does have the problems he has. And he went, I think it was 3 weeks later, to the college here and took the GED and passed it.
Hmm.
No problems at all. No classes, nothing. So he's brilliant. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, I mean, sometimes that, you know, I don't know. It's like my grandfather was the same way, and he was born in the, you know, God knows, 1920s or something like that. You know what I mean? So he lived in West Virginia in the hills. He didn't have school at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's so intelligent. He went to the army and did fabulous things, and you know what I'm saying. So you got to
Yes.
use what you have, and she's doing that well. I have to give her that.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's definitely teaching her, and that's why I get so pissed that she could be doing more advocacy wise.
That's why the whole story doesn't add up. Okay, so you take somebody who was abused and who genuinely wants to advocate. They are going to take the steps to do that. It doesn't matter if they're going to take the steps. They're going to do whatever it takes to get in that lane. And she is resourceful enough to do that as well.
Yeah. 'Cause
You
you can
know,
turn
now
negative
that
into
I think about it,
positive.
Amber,
Yeah.
I also wonder if she has reached out to some of these organizations and they don't want her speaking for them.
Oh.
I think that's true because Mhm.
maybe they don't believe that she is a victim.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I've reached out to all of the organizations. They've all reached out and said we're not going to discuss it. So
That pretty
No
much
comment.
says what Genda says. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sad.
But that doesn't mean you can't raise money for them either, though. Just because you can't be the face of, you know, that organization
absolutely.
doesn't mean
Yeah.
that she can't be
Yeah.
running fundraisers and things and donating her time to go, okay, it doesn't have to be Munchausen's. It could be Habitat for Humanity. Get out there, do something.
But if she's not the face of it, then she doesn't want to do it because it's not getting her attention.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of all kinds. She could do wigs for cancer patients. She could do, I mean, there's so many things. Wheelchairs for children that can't afford them. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I can just come up with a million just sitting here. Yeah.
Okay, we got a little more left here. Hold on.
About giving you medication, but she didn't take her own. And did you know she was on medication at the time?
When I was, I grew up with a mother that said that she saw, shapes and shadows and heard voices. So it's like I knew that she had a lady that would come to the house, and this is when we lived in Louisiana. So I may have been 13, 14 years old, and I knew there was a lady that would come to the house to talk to her, but I still didn't understand the scope of, who that lady was, and she was a therapist. And her.
I think at 13 you kind of know what that is.
Oh, yeah. You know what's going
psychiatrist. On. So when we moved to Missouri, she didn't follow up with her care. And she wasn't put on her medication because she wasn't seeing anyone anymore. And so it's like that is where the system failed her. Is I feel like if she had been put on medication, if she had the support system that she needed, I feel like things would have been very different.
Right. And at what point did you realize that you weren't sick?
I mean, honestly, I always knew that I could walk. And I talk about this in my book, My Time to Stand. I knew that I could walk, but it's kind of like growing up, my mom said that I had all these medical issues, starting off with sleep apnea, then a seizure disorder from birth. So from infancy. So growing up, it was sort of distorted what I knew that I had and what I didn't know. It wasn't until my later teen years that I started to kind of piece together, well, I haven't had a seizure. I don't feel like I have epilepsy. And then it wasn't until I got arrested that I knew the full scope of I'm perfectly healthy.
Oh God.
She's perfect.
And what happens now when you feel sick? Do you doubt yourself?
No, I mean,
so ingrained in you.
Typically, I just get like the common cold. But I am hesitant to like go to doctors. I feel like I was the same way in prison.
Okay, hesitant to go to doctors, but you got pregnant pretty much immediately, which requires a doctor.
Some knowledge, right, and some knowledge.
You got your nose job done. You got your teeth done. So I just like call bullshit on this part of the interview here.
I wasn't one of those inmates that would go to the sick bay for anything. I'd be like, okay, I have to really like have bronchitis or something to want to go to the doctor.
Because they failed you.
Exactly. It's just I'm a little mistrusting.
Dear God.
So that's all I really clipped from that interview, but it kind of brought to my attention, Amber, when you were just talking about this new doctor you saw, and they said, we want to start totally from scratch and do all of our new testing. How did a doctor for her not do that? That is where I do feel she was failed. And like you said, she could file the lawsuit and take some of that money and do good with it.
And even if she doesn't, even if it's not a lawsuit, she can actually win. Just the act of her filing that lawsuit and going through the motions and providing the discovery to a judge, I think would lend a lot of credibility to her story. If she could do that, if she could put out discovery for a judge, to actually look at, even if she can't win it because of statute of limitations or whatever, just the fact that she tried, I think would go a long way in repairing, whatever okay, so let's just pretend Gypsy's not lying. So if she wasn't lying, this would go a long way to repairing her credibility.
Mhm.
Unfortunately,
Yes.
she is lying, and so she's never going to be able to produce the receipts. And she's never going to be able to go in front of Congress and testify because she's not going to be able to produce the documents to Congress to say, this is what happened to me. Look, can we change the laws?
Right. And even if this didn't, I know she's lying, but this is where you can change it around and be like, you know what? I lied, but I'm going to do good with the fact that people are paying attention to me and help people who are actual victims of this. I'm sorry, but when you have PTSD and the way she's talking, like, I have PTSD, having a panic attack, getting her blood drawn, remember when they did the paternity test on the reality show, if you saw, but then to turn around and go get your nose done and your teeth done. And who knows, there's probably other things that we don't know that were done.
Yep.
You can't tell me you have PTSD and don't trust the medical system when you literally jumped at the chance to do all of that as soon as you got out.
For free. Like always, for free.
Yes. For free, because the dentist is going to get a plug because they're on the TV show and they get a 10-second screenshot of their office on the TV. And they're going to do an Instagram. Yes. And it will continue to grift and grift. And it's just the best thing she could do is just get offline. And the YouTube page that she started, God forbid that be about educating people on mental health in Munchausen, right?
Yeah.
Nope,
Yeah.
it's gotta be a mommy blog.
Yeah.
What everyone else is doing.
Something
You
totally off topic. Right. Her baby. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, let's not, because I can get anybody that
there's something
interviews her
unique
is
to
going,
you.
yeah. Is gonna
Yes.
they're gonna play
Yes,
on that.
good.
They're gonna play on the Munchausens and the fictitious order. Anybody that interviews her is gonna do that. And I guess that's where the three of us can disagree, and which is fine. You will never make me believe that both of them did not have some tiny little bit or a big bit of those disorders. There's no way. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
just
and that's
when you
okay.
start
Yeah.
Chris Watts, Amber, you're going to have a lot of opinions, just like me and Jen do, that are not popular with other people. So,
No, it's all right. I came to my conclusions, just from watching her. When people show me her, I don't go out and actively look for her. I definitely don't. And
Right.
just, she has shown me that, and the FOIAs as well. There's a lot there. And if somebody really wanted to know what was really going on in this case, the documents are there, everything's there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, if I had all that, I might change my mind, but
well, I think that's where, I really encourage you guys to go subscribe to Amber. And when she gets these documents, she's going to, be doing more. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of research. But, I feel like a lot is going to come to light. And it would be best if she steps back instead of stepping forward so much.
So I got a question.
If that makes sense.
Did y'all follow her like I did as a young adult, like when she first came on the scene?
No.
Like I followed her, everything her and her mom that got publicized anyway, I followed all of it. And I was totally drug into it. Yeah. Oh my God. It's like, oh, it's Gypsy Rose. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like how she's at Disney World today, or that kind of stuff. Yeah, I was totally in it, like all in it.
I had never even heard of them until the murder happened, and I didn't even know much about it because I was really sick at that time.
Yeah.
And I only started looking into it when I found out she was incarcerated with my cousin. Well, actually, I only started looking into it when I found out she wanted to go meet Taylor Swift at the Chiefs game. And then I was like, something's not right.
Yeah. But I did. I can remember when they got their house. I watched that on TV. I watched it happen the day it happened, like the moment it happened. Yeah. So, I really was invested in it. And so I guess the older I got and the more I learned from going to school and my personal experiences with my family and that kind of thing, the more I became like, something just doesn't smell right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure.
that has a big difference, I think, in, our opinions, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
And it's okay, to have an opinion. Like I said, you guys, I was all about her in the beginning, and I was all about Ryan for a while too, and I wanted him to have this awesome glow up and like meet someone. And now I'm kind of like, you know what? I don't feel bad for you because you
I don't either.
I don't either.
Going into this abusive relationship, she's mentally abusive to you, and you take it. And I know it doesn't commonly happen to men, but this is your opportunity to stick up and say, you know what? It does happen to men. Look at me. I'm one of them.
See, that first thing that I watched with you guys when we did, I think with Amy, Jen, when you had him, the TikTok. That was the first time I watched anything like about him. And I was like, first of all, he's still in love with her. Second of all, he's not a mature person. So it was like and he is all about the money. He kept talking about the views. No, let's don't get off here until I make whatever. I was like, okay, this guy, I can't. And I don't know anything about Ken. Nothing about him. So.
Yeah, they're both kind of similar in the sense of like, they're trying to ride this 15 minutes of fame wave, and I don't blame them. Like, trust me, if I were Ryan, I'd be trying to figure out like, okay, can I make enough money to buy a house and invest money and do this and do that? I can't hate on him, but also like, dude, come on, wake up. Like, you're being, I feel like Ryan would get more respect if, he actually like spoke out and was like, hey, she is mentally abusive.
Yeah, because the way he's presenting himself right now, he is displaying it that she is still mentally abusing him. When you see him, he's still displaying it, but it's like I don't think he realizes it. And it's like, so I almost felt like when I watched that with you guys, I was like, oh my God, wham. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and I think somebody actually put that in the chat. Like I remember seeing like wham, blah, 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 or something like that. You know what I mean? And that's the first time I'd ever seen him do anything. And I was like, oh dear God. I mean, get a girlfriend, honey. It's like,
and the sad thing is, you guys, though, I feel like people are throwing themselves at him.
Really?
But he is so, yes, girl, like, go check out his comment section. There are girls who are interested in him.
He's such a nice guy.
And he's just mentally closed off to it. So I hate it. But I'm hoping this summer, like, just help yourself, dude. Just go on a date. Go out, see what happens, see what the world has to offer, because she isn't it.
Nope, she's not.
She's not it.
And like I said, in my opinion, just watching the one video that I've seen, I haven't gone and looked at any others. That's what I got from him. Like, okay, this guy needs to figure out how to make what we're talking about with Gypsy, really, how to make himself new again and whole again, and let her go.
Yeah,
let her go. I mean, honest to God, I would give the dog to somebody that would love her. I mean, even that, because he kept saying the dog's name, and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, so anyway.
He's obsessed with that dog now.
Yeah. Look at the chat, y'all. The chat's fabulous.
We have the best chat.
Oh my God. I'm cracking up.
I am going to pin this, you guys, because this is where you can go listen to the full podcast. Of course, I'm not going to play it in its entirety. So I need, to give props to Tori Spelling's podcast. I found it on
Yeah.
Apple. It's called Misspelling.
That's a cool name.
Yeah. And I would be interested to hear if she talks about like her past.
Yeah.
I'm sure she does. But today was the first time that I've listened to it. I'm going to be honest. So
Me
Did
too.
you know Gypsy was going to be
Otherwise-
on there? Is that why you watched it?
yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's why I watched.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything else, you guys, but
I
thank
just
you
have to
for
say,
doing our
your
first
chat, I'm going to give the
Tea
chat
with the
a hand of
Queers.
applause because
Yes.
they have been great. Joy, I want to be your best friend. Where do you live? And I mean, Olga was here. I haven't seen Olga in a long time either, Jen.
I
So,
know.
yeah. So, and I love, what was the other one? The name, like Only Me Baby. I love to the names. There
Yeah,
was
we've
another
got-
one earlier that was really funny too. So,
there's always good people, and like I said, you guys, I can't wait for us to do like a health one because there's
Yeah.
so many people in the chat that are really suffering with different things going on, and I feel like all of us, you know, including Amy, who is not on here tonight, we can really help make a difference, and just talking about our stories are really, really going to help people out. So
yeah.
Thank
Well, I've
you,
heard a
guys.
little bit
All right,
about both
I am-
y'all. Yeah. And I love, and Jen, you look tired. Get some rest. You look tired.
I am tired today.
You look
Yeah.
sleepy tired. Yeah. Yeah, you do. I'm like, my girl
I
needs her
am.
rest.
I know. Yeah, I didn't get my nap today. The kids were running around like crazy. So,
Yeah.
all right, you guys. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
Please go
Thank you,
subscribe
everybody.
to these ladies. Show them some love. Show them some support. And we will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.
Have a blessed day
Bye.
or evening.